Okay, well, the old Norton's back off the road again. Last time we put the different barrel and piston on, did the kickstart spring. That's all grand, working as it should be. But I got, I don't know, 20-30 miles out of the thing, and that was me lot. She's had a rather dramatic electrical failure. Stopped charging altogether. I think, after prodding around with a multimeter, that switch has caused the problem. My initial suspect was the ammeter, because it was giving some rather strange readings and rattling around all over the place. But I borrowed a multimeter while I was out, took that out of the equation altogether, put the multimeter in, and it was giving the same really strange, weird readings. But yeah, it's absolutely fried, the alternator it has. So we're a little bit knackered. Yeah. Now when I was testing it, if I just lightly jiggled this switch around, I had the ammeter going all the way from +8 to -8 and anything in between. So I'm pretty sure that is my culprit. But regardless of that, it's knackered. So I don't currently have the funds to do everything, because I'm not spending a boatload of money on a brand new alternator, because I'm going to have to buy a new rotor as well, because the new Lucas ones, or reproduction, whatever they happen to be, run a slightly larger rotor. So that's a lot of money spent there, and I don't want to put that on a knackered old rectifier, a potentially knackered old rectifier, a very dubious switch, and wiring that has seen better days. So it all starts getting rather expensive. So, for now, what I've done is I've taken the previous alternator, taken it apart, because this is the one that was on the bike when I got it, and it just shook itself to bits. Everything came loose and, yeah, just shook itself apart, chafed through a few areas on the coils and, yeah, killed itself. So I've nicked the ring, and for now I have just wound 2 coils, so that would be 1 phase. I've not joined them together yet. I've used a sweet tub lid to make my insulators out of, because, well, I had one, because it's, you know, relatively close to Christmas. It's a good excuse to finish off the sweets. And insulated with red tape, because anyone that's had to deal with red tape before knows it's pretty tough to get through. So, battery's on charge, so hopefully we can just run off the battery for a while. So the plan is to pop this on, fire the old girl up, and just see what kind of readings we get. I'll do it as individual coils first, and then I'll wire them up together so it's sort of one single phase. Right, I'll get some of these little tangs bent out of the way so they don't catch the rotor. Pop it on there, and I'll bring you back when it's either successful or terribly not successful. Right, onward. Okay, let's just up and tick it over, see if we get something. Let's see if we can get everything in the shot. We've got that there. Prop that up. Now you should be able to see most things. There we go, that's sort of 9-ish volts at idle, depending on how I hold the wires. I've not got the best connection. And yeah, that one's the same. That's just at idle. So what I'll do, where's my screwdriver? I mean ignition key. Shut that off for a moment, that's rather noisy. So yeah, that's each coil individually, just at idle. So I'll probably wire them together as if they're going to be the one big phase that they are, and just see what kind of results we get. This coil is a little reading stronger, but it will do because I wound it a lot neater. This one's a little bit baggy. I'm having to wind them by hand. I don't actually have a coil winder, so I've got a little bobbin thing I made up. Only my carpentry skills aren't the greatest, and there's a slight taper on the edge of there, so yeah. I said this one, the first one I did, absolutely wonderful. That took 3 attempts to make it that bad. I'll clean these wires up a bit more, because when I do hold it in the right place, there's only sort of half a volt difference. Naturally, when I had the camera going, of course, I couldn't find the clean bit where I'd taken the enamel off. So yeah. Right, we shall join them together, and we'll try again. Okay. That's wired those two together. Well, I don't think that works too bad, so I made it out of the lid of a sweet tub and just the copper I had kicking about. So, yeah, they were good enough numbers, weren't they? Let's disconnect this battery, otherwise my brake light will stay on. Right, so that is plenty good enough for a 12 volt system. Looks like we might be going 12 volt. Pardon me. Well, yeah, that's better than I was expecting. Quite chuffed, really. As I say, I can't remember the exact numbers, and the prices vary depending on where you're looking at to buy them. But new alternators, sort of top side of £100. Same for the rotor, and those switches for a reproduction one are about £80, give or take, and the reproduction ones are a little bit hit and miss. You can still get new old stock ones if you know where to look. Predominantly the other side of the Atlantic to where I'm currently sat. They tend to pop up every now and then. Well, yeah, if I can successfully make that work, I'll have a modern 3-phase generator. I'll get a 5-wire reg rec. You pick them up cheap enough, the sort of 15 quid-ish. Put it on a 12 volt battery, should already have one. Make the wiring harness, change the bulbs, change the ignition coil. And since the ignition coil is just one out the bottom of a box, it's probably a good idea to change it anyway. Right, I think that's the plan. Yeah. Feel free to let me know if I'm being daft, but yeah, I think that'll do for today. Right. Well, thank you again for watching, and from me and from the Norton, yeah. Oh, before I do go, I've decided the Norton's called Jane. Jane the Norton. Because every time I go out on it, there's a calamity. Yeah. Right, anyway, enough of that nonsense. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.